97 on the box. It's the Mad Hatter
Morning Show. It's 8:30. Good morning to you, CNN analyst. Miss Soledad O'Brien is in the building. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
All right, now the question hopping up in here.
Yeah, crutches.
What happened?
It's so not cute. I mean, I've been on crutches. It's just not cute. I hate crutches. I really
Above anything else, forget that you got issues going on right now with your body.
I'm grateful for the crutches because,
Right.
I really, sometimes I forget, like my kids will take them and I'm sitting there like, no, seriously, bring back my crutches. I can't move. I tore up my knee. I've torn everything. I tore my ACL, my MCL, my LCL.
Wow. I don't even know what that is.
Were you playing running back for the Jets or
Yes,
something?
that's right. Yes, I started playing running back. No, I fell off my horse. I got chucked. She got spooked and I fell. And my foot got cut in the stirrup, and so it just tore everything. It's never a good sign when your surgeon's like, wow, this is impressive. It's a bad sign.
Or I've never seen this before.
No, he didn't say that. I think he sees it a lot, but in college athletes. So they're going to go in and repair it next Friday. I'll go in for surgery.
Your triceps are going to be a beast.
My tries, honestly, not to brag, but seriously, my arms have gotten so strong. You can feel it.
Don't get with J Mac. You guys be muscles back and forth there.
Crunches, yeah.
Soledad O'Brien in the building right now. You've been reporting for years. I mean, just had a great career.
I deny that. I'm 25. What are you talking about?
You were a child prodigy. You started at 5 years old.
That's right.
I remember, yes.
Made the CNN at 10. Okay, girl. Has there been any stories or anything that you wish that you can go back and either do something differently, change the out,
I love going back to revisit. I loved going back to do a 5-year look at Hurricane Katrina because I love the people in New Orleans, and I've been so happy to be there, and so I love going back there. I love going to Haiti. I brought my daughter back over the summer, and I'll bring her back again. Won't do the summer; it's too hot. But I'll go back in the spring with her to volunteer at orphanages. Because I think there's a sense sometimes that those problems are so big and so entrenched, and they're really not. Individuals can actually make a difference in a little tiny itty bitty way sometimes, but. It's easy to get overwhelmed by Haiti, or Katrina, recovery, and even, debt. Oh my God, and you have to say, well, you actually can start very small and just pick a little corner. When I was in Haiti, all the missionaries love to tell the story of the starfish. You know the starfish story? Kid's walking down the beach, and he sees starfish, and they've all been beached, they've all been washed up, so he starts chucking them back in the water. And a guy comes up to him and says, what are you doing? Look up the beach. There's like 1 million of these starfish. You're never going to get them all. And the kid picks up one and chucks it in the water and says, well, for that one, it made a difference. And when I was in Haiti, everywhere you go, you'd ask the missionaries, why are you doing this? And they'd say, well, the starfish story. And I'd say, no, tell me the starfish story. And every time they would tell you, their version of that same story. And it was such a great story because it kind of reminds you, for the one you're working on, it makes a difference. And sometimes that can be enough. Just that little bit. It doesn't have to be all million on the beach. It can just be the one. And I think when I think of it in terms of that, it really kind of inspires you to keep going.
Do you think because we're in a constant 24-hour news cycle, even devastating stories like Katrina or Haiti, that we get news fatigue? And people, and it causes them, they have that great sense of care at first, but then, they see it so much that people start not to care.
Yeah, there's no question about that. The news cycle is very fast, but at the same time, in Haiti, people gave so much money to Haiti. People who will never go to Haiti, don't know any Haitians, don't necessarily feel personally connected, but because of the news cycle, were really compelled to give. Katrina, people stop me all the time to ask what's happening in New Orleans if they don't have a chance to go down there. So, I think that's just the nature of the beast, but I don't think it makes people care less. And in a way, with that news cycle, as long as you can find a way in to tell that story, then you get to go on the air. What I've liked about doing documentaries is that we sort of take a slower look. We stop. We don't have to get on TV right away. We can take a year to work on our projects, which has been a real luxury.
All right, we're talking to Soledad O'Brien now. Let's talk about this. You've done the hard news stories, but how was it to be voted one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world in 2000?
You know what's so funny about that? So, yeah, I did.
50. That's like 50. The world's got billions of people, right?
There I was.
And that's before the biceps, and that's before the triceps and everything, right?
But I was much younger. Yeah. But I tell you, what's so funny? I was pregnant when they did that shoot. I threw up during the entire shoot, and I felt that was God saying, don't you get a big head about this? I was so sick. Whenever I see that picture, because they send you the frame picture, I look so miserable because I was sick. They kept giving me red jelly beans and orange juices. All I could keep down the entire shoot. I was so nauseous. So I only have horrible, ugly memories about that.
Now the big question is, they hear Soledad O'Brien in your background.
Maria de la Soledad Teresa Marchetti O'Brien.
Now Soledad means
It means
solitude.
Mary.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't mean like lonely, because I was going to ask you if you needed a friend or
So, solitude is you want to be alone. Lonely is you have no friends.
Okay, I see.
Lonely is you're a loser and you have no friends.
I got you.
Those are very different things. But no, Maria de la Soledad means the Blessed Virgin Mary.
Okay, my mother would love that name.
It was hard to live up to, I'm sure.
Do that one more time, the whole thing.
Maria de la Soledad Teresa Marchetti O'Brien. Then I got married.
Now, and your mother is from Cuba, right? And your father is from Australia.
Right. My mom's black and Cuban, and my dad is white and Australian. And his grandparents were from Ireland.
Okay. Did your dad have the Australian accent?
Of course he does. It's a great accent. If he
it's
didn't, he
all thick and like
it's
Paul Hogan-ish?
Fantastic. Yeah, so my parents literally, he has a great Australian accent. My
Can
mom
you do
has
it?
this. No, I can't. I'm terrible.
Oh,
with
come
accents.
on.
My mother has a great Cuban accent. And I got the Long Island accent, which is.
So is that the question you got when you're coming up in your career? Is like, Soledad O'Brien, what's your background?
They do a lot of that. What are you? What are you? I'm an American. What are you? But I had I had a job interview in Connecticut once where the news director said to me, Soledad. Maybe you should change that name because no one's going to really, which I thought was crazy. And plus, it's like I'm named after the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, how can you change that?
You get struck dead by lightning the day after you change your name. But, for the most part, I think it wasn't that hard for people to kind of, once they learned it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you the most famous O'Brien you think you know?
Am I the most famous O'Brien? Probably not.
Okay.
Wasn't there a Tim O'Brien who was a heptathlete?
What about Conan?
Conan O'Brien,
what about
far
Pat?
more famous. Pat O'Brien.
Now here's the question. You're news. What do you?
I'm
like
the most famous Black O'Brien.
So when
Black Latina O'Brien.
What do you watch on TV? I mean, when you go home,
I got 4 kids. You know what I watch on TV? I watch Phineas and Ferb.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Wizards of Waverly
Hannah
Place.
Montana.
We don't watch that.
Okay.
Selena Gomez. Hannah Montana, she's a little too sassy, I think, to her family, so we don't do that. Selena Gomez, I love. iCarly, we
Wonder
love.
Pets.
You know what? The Black Mama
Wonder
just
Pets
came.
my boys like because they're 6, yeah.
The Black Mama came out to you right there. She too sassy.
No, she's a little, I don't need, why? Because she would do the whole, talk to the hand, and the next day you've got 4 kids saying, talk to the hand. Oh, no.
That's a good point. No more Hannah Montana in my house.
Too much. Yeah, no, that needs to go.
So we're hip-hop and R&B. What hip-hop artists you like or R&B?
You know who I am in love with is, when I was running, I was, on the treadmill. I love Neo.
Okay.
I love, I'm listening to Citizen Cope. I love Citizen Cope, and I have no juice at all with anybody to get tickets to anything, but he has a show in New York on Saturday, and I got tickets, and I was like, and I want to come backstage and meet him because I love him that much. I've never met him.
You just got excited. You kind of beaming right now.
I love. I'm a real Luther Vandross fan. Huge.
Well, take us backstage, Soledad, to CNN. Is it just like us kind of hanging around? Is Larry King just kind of hanging out in the lobby? Anderson Cooper just kind of hanging. Hey, Anderson, what's up? What's going on?
Not quite in the lobby, but yeah, actually, one of the things I've really liked about CNN is that the people are so regular. Anderson is such a great, smart guy, and he is just hanging around in his office, and Larry King, he's usually out in LA, but he's got a DC office as well, and he's in New York sometimes. Same deal. You just pop up and hang out with them. It's really regular, actually. It's sort of stunningly so.
Well, who was your mentor? Who was the one that said, hey, I, Soledad O'Brien, want to be a journalist because I see this person? You
know who was great to me? I never really got into the business for that, but Katie Couric was amazing. She's very hardcore. She had high demands, and she's super smart, and she's really hardworking, and she expects everybody around her to be equally working as hard. But she was an amazing mentor to me, partly because she just didn't tolerate any crap. So,
for example,
she would. I remember going to her office one day, and she'd say, "Listen, when you're answering, you're tossing back to people," because I would fill in for Ann Curry on the desk, and I would say, "Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Katie." Just don't do that. Stop thanking everybody. And take the toss and just say thank you, read the news, and then when you toss back, do da-da-da-da. And people would say to me, oh, that was so harsh. And I was like, really? Katie Couric just critiqued my performance.
Thank you.
Gave me tools to make me better. I was so grateful. I was like, thank you so much, Katie. Katie Couric spoke to me. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So she ended up being an amazing man. Just very, she's just blunt. She was kind of like, I do not tolerate crap, and if you're not going to do what I tell you, that's fine, but I don't need to mentor you then. she was really, really helpful. And so she's been a remarkable, she's amazing. And she's a tremendous interviewer. I used to just sit on the set when she'd do her interviews just to learn, how she would navigate tricky interviews. How do you, there are sometimes in interviews you get stuck. You can't, the person's either they're contentious, they won't give, concede on a point, or it's getting unpleasant, or it's really slow or whatever. And she would just have such great strategies for that I would just sit there and say, oh, that's good to know. All right, Senator, we're going to agree to disagree on that and move on. Boom. And she was so helpful. So she's been a great mentor.
Oh, you're my mentor from a distance. Well, I'll just be watching too. Like, Soledad O'Brien, she's on doing her thing. And we'll be watching, of course, this Thursday, Black in America, the new special, Almighty Debt. Thank you so much for your work. And I hear you're about to be my honorary Sarah next year.
Hey, Sarah.
All right. Double Secret Theta. Congratulations early, just in advance.
Thank you. February.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
We'll be watching. Soledad O'Brien.
We sure appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. And then the show airs, it's not this Thursday, but it's next Thursday.
October 21st.
October 21st on CNN. Okay, coming up next, weather and traffic. Thanks a lot, Soledad. Best of luck to you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.